off. Good morning from Paradise Surfers. I'm back from vacation. It's still cold. There's still snow on the ground, and the market still looks like shit. Take me back to Tulum. Take me back, please, Nick. But I'm just joking around. Happy to be back with you guys. The intro video we're doing a little upgrade on, so apology we don't have the intro video, but we got a great set of stories for you guys today. The market and the progress, let me just say the progress hasn't slowed down, even if the market has. So we got some bullish stories to cover, maybe some bearish ones too. I think the big epiphany that we've had over the past, 6 months is that retail is shit in the bed, capitulating, selling all their Bitcoin like little BITCHESs. Meanwhile, Wall Street's buying your bags. I think in 10 years you're going to regret cheating out now. But other than that, how was your week there, Nick? I missed you.
Pretty good. Just watching the markets is like watching paint dry. Not much really going on. If you look at my Twitter, it's like we didn't have live shows, obviously. But I had a couple retweets here, interacted with some posts, did this, did that, but there wasn't really anything meaningful happening as far as price performance. Nothing really happened. So you didn't miss too much while you were gone. You got some better weather, and you missed a lot more sideways. A lot of good bullish news articles we'll post about today, but price continues to never follow.
I'm not sure if this is a crypto winter, but this damn sure is a bear market. We're in deep fear, and it's been like this for ages. So, hunker down, gather your sweaters and your vests in case it is the crypto winter. But I remain confident that this bear market will be relatively short-lived, as that has been the trend this cycle. The uptrends are short. The downtrends are also relatively short. So we'll see how long this persists. I, for one, am very happy I got away. I spent a week at the Paradise Pad with my son, and my dad joined us. So it was a boys' trip. And I did record a lot of content you should see dropping on the X and the YouTube. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to everything. We do appreciate your guys' support through these dark times. But the biggest takeaway from the trip is, look, if you're feeling down in the dumps and you're feeling your portfolio's wrecked and it's cold out and you're out there dragging the recycling to the corner in 20-degree weather, guys, we're giving away free vacations. I mean, you gotta get yourself your own flight. But once you're down there, you can stay at the Paradise Pad, which is a luxurious condo. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool on the roof and 10 minutes from the beach. You can stay there for free and get out of the cold and get your mind away from the shitty market. Because I'll tell you, when I was gone, I was not caring about the price of Bitcoin. I was too busy having fun. I was doing workouts on the beach. I was looking at all the beautiful, my God. It's like there is not an unattractive, all the women there are insanely hot. I don't know where Nick went. The women in Tulum are insanely freaking hot. It's totally crazy. I hope my wife's not watching the stream right now. She's also beautiful, by the way. But, so you want to get into the warmth, get your mind off the market, look at some beautiful women. We got you. We got you on a free vacation. So literally hit us up, especially if you're on the Crypto Paradise DAO and have 200,000 surf tokens. Hit us up. That's how you get your ticket to paradise. Get out of the cold, get out of the dog shit. And then hopefully by the time you're back, the market will have turned up a little bit. And I was kind of hoping that, because I was gone for a week, like, all right, surely we should be sort of climbing out of the absolute dog shit territory, the, fear at sub 10. Surely we should be at, I don't know, fear 12? Maybe fear 15 by the time I was back? No such luck. I think we're still at 8. So,
Talking about being back, it looks like I'm back. I have lost internet. I don't know. You go away for a week, and now nothing wants to work. Intro, we had some issues. Apparently, it's in the deleted files of the old editor. And now the internet's going down here. But we got a bunch of news articles to cover, fundamentals, technical analysis, etc. As far as price, nothing really to talk about. The one thing I will talk about As we said, we believe that the market cycle is not over because we believe that the ISM would start to expand because of the things that Trump is doing with the U.S. economy. We have seen that expansion underway. The ISM is now to 52.6. We were stuck in the 40s for a very long time. It's up 10% over the past month. And that is a nice trend in the right direction. Obviously, Bitcoin hasn't reacted to the upside yet, but the ISM does have quite a ways to go to get into that expansion territory and get to the same highs that we saw mark the exact top on Bitcoin in 2013, the exact top on Bitcoin in 2017, 2018, and the exact top on Bitcoin in 2021. Will the history of the ISM expansion repeat itself and lead us to be correct in Bitcoin doing its major top later this year?
I think there's a better chance of that happening than not happening. Let's put it that way. Who remembers last year around this time? Well, I think we were still actually running up pretty nicely in mid-Feb. But at some point in February, I mean, things got real ugly due to political noise and fear and uncertainty around, well, that time was around the tariffs, and now it's around God knows what. Seems like the market is still quite uncertain and quite fearful at this moment in time, but you zoom ahead, and I'd say within 3 to 6 months, we will have a new Fed chair. By the way, his policies and his approach is going to start to take effect even before May. That's what the insiders tell us anyway. The Fed insiders tell us that once there's a new chair, then the outgoing chair, sort of his influence wanes a little bit, and the new guy is able to step in and exert a bit of his influence, and we may see some change even before May. But in any event, we got Trump refunds coming from the big, beautiful bill, the tariffs, which hopefully do not get stricken down, inflation falling off a cliff. I mean, all the positive macros are still there, but yet if you look at every single asset, gold, silver, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Netflix, Meta, fucking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, everything is down bigly off its highs. But you cannot live in a permanent state of all-time highs, guys. That's just not how the markets work. So patience, conviction, end of the year should be better.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just haven't seen that run in crypto. And you could argue, well, Bitcoin had its all-time high, 126,000, but still pretty lousy bull market there because it didn't really apply to any other assets. Ethereum didn't really get to an all-time high. BNB did about a 2x. Solana did decent. But other than that, we just didn't have that euphoria, that fun, that excitement, that opportunity in the crypto markets like we typically would see with the 4-year halving cycle, especially when we're seeing stocks go to new all-time highs, because even as of late, Bitcoin was really trending with the NASDAQ, and that just hasn't happened in the past 6 months or so since the October 10th liquidity crisis.
I think we just have to accept that past performance doesn't guarantee future results, which is one of the tried and truest statements in finance. You hear it all over the place all the time. And it was a mistake to think that just because something happened previously, it was guaranteed to happen again. The world's pretty complicated, guys. A lot of complexity. And so for us to think it's just going to be the same thing every time, that was clearly a blunder. But that's not to say all is lost. That's not to say we won't have a time of outperformance for alts. I think you need sort of the alchemy of elements to come together, which is going to be lower rates. It's going to be QE. It's going to require ISM and business expansion to be higher. Just general risk on attitude before the risk assets do well. And that's just how it is, guys.
And it's really been the retail taking profits and or taking losses over the past 2 years. 1.2 million plus Bitcoin sold by individuals in the past 2 years. That equals 6% plus of the total supply, surpassing Satoshi Nakamoto's known holdings. Retail is selling while ETFs and listed firms are buying. People always talk about what if Satoshi moved Bitcoin and sold it would go to zero. Well, here you go. In the last 2 years, individuals have been selling more than what Satoshi owns, and we are not at zero. We are at $67,000, $68,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at that glass half full or glass half empty. To the individuals who have decided to sell your Bitcoin, why? Why did you do it? Why are you not hodling on? Why are you not thinking about life in 5 and 10 year time horizons? Why are you selling into the hands of Wall Street? Why are you doing it? Did you need the money now? I guess you maybe did, some of you. And I'm not talking about the guys that had made billions of dollars. If you've made billions of dollars off of Bitcoin, you go ahead and sell, and you sail off in the sunset, and your generations are good forever. Good for you. That 6% is going to be a lot of retail, short-term holders, guys who made 20%, 10%, or maybe even took a loss. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Do not sell your Bitcoin in the hands of Wall Street. Just hodl on through the tough times. Take it from a guy who held on from 17K or whatever that was, $20,000 in 2017, all the way down to 3, and then up to 126, and then down to 67, and then up to 200, and then down to 150, and then up to 500, and then down, and then up, and I could go on and on. The point is to hold on to your goddamn Bitcoin, people.
We've talked about needing liquidity to spur risk on assets, and really that applies heavily to cryptocurrencies. I know collectibles are kind of standing on their own two footing with the ISM expansion and with the little bit of liquidity that we're seeing. We see Pokemon, sports cards, and other collectibles still have their day in the sun still running. Not every single Pokemon card or every single sports card is running, but there is definitely sector adoration there, and things are going up in price. We just saw Logan Paul sell his Pikachu illustration 1-of-1 card for $16.5 million that he bought for $5.3 or $5.7 million just a handful of years ago. So even the most expensive of collectibles still are doing double ups while Bitcoin still flounders. But on the bright side, the Federal Reserve is set to inject $16 billion into the economy this week. This is more liquidity coming to the markets, more liquidity hopefully finding its way to the individuals' pockets, and hopefully continue to get that ISM expansion, which historically, when ISM goes up, Bitcoin does follow.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this non-QE QE going on for a while now. I think they sort of paused it for a month or two, and now it seems to be back with a vengeance. I still would argue that you need to distinguish between QE designed to drive down the long-term interest rates and QE designed to sort of provide some short-term liquidity to the banking system, which you would call non-QE QE. But regardless, it is money flowing, which we do need. I think we need a much more aggressive intervention by the Fed from a QE standpoint, but also from an interest rate standpoint. The labor market is in shambles, ladies and gentlemen. And the most ridiculous set of data dropped last week that just makes the whole exercise of, evaluating the labor market, you just scratching your head doesn't even begin to describe it. It makes you go, what the fuck are these idiots who's collecting this data? What are they doing with their lives? Because on one day last week, by the way, I did look at the news once or twice while I was chilling on the beach. One day it came out, the labor market, over expectations. We were supposed to have 4.4% unemployment, and it's 4.3. Yay! No rate cuts, or bad no rate cuts. Then literally the next day, it drops. Oh, by the way, all the jobs that we thought were created, over the last year, 1 million of them didn't actually happen. 1 million job revision to the downside. The next day after it came out that, unemployment's not so bad. This shit is ridiculous. We are actually in bad shape. Go ask anyone who's looking for a job right now. Dude, this shit's impossible. I would say 90% of the opportunities on LinkedIn are completely fake and scams. You can't move jobs. The job market's frozen. The housing market's frozen. And it's all because they kept rates high for too long. Because of phantom inflation they thought was coming because of Trump and the tariffs, and they didn't like him.
Right, and now if you look at Truflation data, Truflation has us well below the 2% target, sometimes even around 1% inflation rate based off their live data feeds, which is wild to see. Obviously, they just started showing that. There's usually the 45-day lag, so let's see what the Fed sees here, I guess, in March. March 17th is the next chance of a rate cut. Based on the labor statistics and this, fear of almost deflationary activity, they need to cut rates, and they need to cut rates in a big way. No more 0.25 basis cuts. They need a 50 basis cut. But the question is, with Fed Powell knowing he's on his way out in April, and you notice they are in May, and there's no chance of a cut in May either, what happens these next 2 months? Does he just sit on his hands, or do other people around him who also have votes wake up, don't become political, and actually do something to turn the ship around?
I mean, that is the trillion-dollar question, isn't it? We are less than 30 days away from the decision.
And it's only up to 7. It was down to like 4, so it is creeping up a little bit. But 27 days away, and it's only at a 7% chance at 25, and less than a 1% chance of a 50 basis point cut.
I mean, I don't even know what to tell people anymore. It's like, I guess we're living in two different universes. No different than the rest of politics, I guess. The left and the right live in two different universes, and apparently the Fed is living in a different universe than the rest of the economy and everybody else in it. Because if, in fact, we did have a 1 million job downward revision over the past year, and if, in fact, inflation is still sub 3%, let's just use their numbers. Last time they had a 2.7. It's less than that. They have to cut at least a 25 basis point, do they not? But this shit is so politicized. It's so, I need to exert my Fed independence, and I will not be pressured by Donald J. Trump, the orange man. So therefore, I will fuck the economy because the Fed's independence is more important than people's jobs and lives. Fucking hell, dude. So I don't know what's going to happen. Fingers crossed they do the 25 and we get a dovish conference. But I've lost all faith in Powell and Lisa Cook and all those fucking liberals over there.
Well, they did do the 3 cuts, and we were right about the 3 cuts, saying, hey, I know they're saying they're not going to. We think they're going to cut. The 4th cut didn't happen, and we said there was some headwinds that came into play, some of the data, but mostly because Trump started pushing on Powell again. And as soon as he started pushing on Powell, what happened? No cuts. Now, maybe Trump can keep quiet here for the next 27 days and not push on him and see if we start to get back on the train of cutting rates here again. But on the side of the government, on things maybe actually getting done, breaking, the CFTC chair says that we are on the cusp of enacting crypto market structure bill into law. If this happens, the manipulation in crypto market could drop 70 to 90%. As you know, there is a broad brush saying that manipulation is what kind of caused the October 10th liquidity crisis and the price action that we were seeing here today in crypto. So not only will the crypto market structure bill help weed out some of that manipulation, but it also brings regulatory compliance to the space and allows more traditional big money to feel safe about getting involved with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the crypto markets.
If you believe the conspiracy theories around this market crash and who's buying, who's selling, and then politically what's happening behind the scenes, I mean, look, if this Clarity Act does get passed, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, seems like it's going to get passed, then, yeah, Wall Street's been buying. They know it's coming. They're insiders. They talk to the politicians. You don't think the Masters of the Universe, you don't think the guy who owns Galaxy Digital, Mike Novogratz, you don't think he can talk to the senators? You don't think he has them on speed dial from his private jet? Hey, man, it's a chance this passed this month, bro. Oh, yeah, we're making great headway. Brian Armstrong, Trump, they're strong-arming Jamie Dimon. It's going to happen. Why do you think Jane Street is one of the richest private market-making and investing firms in the entire world? Jane Street is, I think, a market maker by trade, but they do a lot of different stuff. They're not a publicly traded company. They're just fucking making bank. I mean, these guys make so much goddamn money, it'll make your head explode. They're the ones, apparently, that have been selling spot Bitcoin to then push the price down to buy the iBit Bitcoin. Which, I mean, I don't get the strategy, but allegedly, that 10 a.m. seller and wakes up at New York time, 10 a.m., I think Jane Street might be based in Chicago. But regardless, this is who's been buying your Bitcoin on the low. You don't think that they don't have the politicians on speed dial know what's coming next? Anyway, guys, get your head in the game and don't fucking sell.
You got Jane Street rolling out of bed, brushing her teeth, and then just, yeah, all right, I'm done for the day. Sell here, buy there. We're good.
Can we make a meme of like Jane? Like, what does Jane look like? Is she like just some hot chicken in like a
I
corporate
think she
suit?
just got to
like
be a
fucking-
smoke show. Yeah, just a smoke show, then going down to the cafe afterwards with their little dog, hanging out after just dumping and making 100 million on the day.
just running the global markets like in stilettos. Good for her. Good for Jane. But no, seriously, this is, I mean, the 10 a.m. seller, right? We've been talking about the 10 a.m. seller. Everyone's been talking about the 10 a.m. seller. This is allegedly who it's been. Dumping Bitcoin to buy more at lower prices. Can Nick, maybe someone smarter than me understand? So you sell, I guess they bought lower, right? So they bought it lower. They're selling at profits.
Right.
And then they're pushing the price
Probably
down,
selling
and then
selling
they're buying
spot. They're probably selling spot Bitcoin in profits while shorting, leverage instruments. So they're making money on both ends of the trade there. And then now they're going into IBIT, so they're able to quickly turn their traditional funds that they're going from a short into a spot long IBIT position. And then in theory, when traditional markets kind of put a premium on crypto assets when they go up really quick. We'll see what happens this cycle, but it's happened a lot of other cycles with grayscale products and stuff. So in theory, they'll profit even more by being an IBIT than spot Bitcoin on the way back up. But again, they have all that USDT on the crypto market. So who's to say they don't just have a good timing with this Clarity Act and everything else, catch back on the bandwagon, back on the long side in the spot markets to help push price up as well. And they know they can get Michael Saylor from Strategy and all these other guys to FOMO buy as well. They're doing it right. They're on the right side of the trade while you have Michael Saylor and Thomas Lee and some of these other guys on the wrong side of the trade. So maybe it's AI, maybe it's computers, or maybe it's some hot babe and stilettos rolling out of bed and just pressing that sell button on the spot Bitcoin. Either way, she's been winning.
Yeah, she's been winning. Well, it turns out Jane Street is actually founded by dudes. What a surprise. 140 billion AUM. They are a market maker. They are apparently one of the most successful quant trading firms in existence. So these are the kind of guys you're competing with when you're out there, trying to trade Bitcoin, and you're, doing your little perpetuals moves over on Hyperliquid. You are competing against the best of the best. And if you can compete with them, and if you can make money trading, good, fucking great job for you, man. It's not as if there are no really, it's not as if there's only really smart people working at the likes of Jane Street. Like, there are smart people everywhere. I know that I'm not as smart as them. I don't have the tools. I don't have the experience. I don't have the team of quants and geniuses surrounding me. All I have is my conviction and my patience, and therefore I do not try to compete against them. All I do is hold Bitcoin and watch and wait for them to push the price higher.
Also, what we do is look for opportunities. And of course, you guys know about the partnership between Pools and Crypto Paradise. I don't know if you want to go over this one and kind of talk about what's been going on there. It's only been a couple weeks since this has happened. Obviously, the Pools token is up like 48 or 58% since the partnership. So shout out to those of you who bought some Pools on the announcement. But what does it mean for the future of Pools, the future of Crypto Paradise, and how does this help our community in the future, as well as the networks that we participate on, like PulseChain?
Yeah, man, we're cooking over the Pools and Crypto Paradise partnership, right? Like, it's more than a partnership because we're kind of stepped in as co-owners of Pools. It's in full transparency. The old founders are still there, but we have an ownership stake in Pools now. And so obviously we greatly care about its success. We're trying to increase the profile of Pools first and foremost, because it's a great platform. And if you're an investor who likes to try to find 100x opportunities, but you don't like taking a whole heck of a lot of risk, well, then come over to Pools, grab yourself a bag of Pool X. It's a $600,000 market cap. At one point, the shit was like $100 million. Remember when we first invested in Pools, because we were one of their early investors? I remember when the token was worth $8. And now it's like,
it probably launched around this price. It probably launched around 600,000 market cap and went up into the tens and hundreds of millions.
Correct. It was like 100x for us back 5 years ago. I think it probably helped me buy my condo in Mexico. So that's a wonderful thing. But obviously the market's changed. We know that. The one thing that Pool's done, which is really, truly incredible, is they've innovated on the concept of the refundable IDO. Look, we know how risky it is launching a token in crypto, whether bull or bear. Mistakes can happen. Teams can F people over on purpose. The centralized exchanges can F people over. We know that happens all the time. And so why not give investors the opportunity, a 24-hour window, to see how the token is performing, and if it's going well, claim their tokens and let it ride, or it shit the bed for some reason, you get a refund. So that's the core innovation of pools, but we're really pushing it. We got a lot of great stuff coming, man. Pools Ventures is making a comeback. Obviously, we're going to be talking about a lot on here on Crypto Paradise. And then one thing we just announced, it was an idea I had. Andre's one of the core guys at Pool. Shout out to Andre, awesome dude. Had an idea when I was down in Tulum, where I was like, what if we gave founders who decide to launch on pools a little bit of an extra incentive and a little bit of thank you and a little bit of, benefit of launching on pools outside of the fundraising, the marketing, and everything that we're doing. So everyone, founders, team members, if you guys decide to launch on pools, you will automatically get invited down to the Paradise Pad free vacation for you.
It looks like you were just down there this past week. Here's a photo.
I was.
On that tweet here.
Dude, literally the view from one of the beach clubs. I'm getting served tacos, beautiful women in bikinis walking by. You're getting treated like a king down there. You guys don't understand this. Shout out to Mexico, by the way. What a great culture, man. It's a culture of service. It's service with a smile, dude. I'm going to the local convenience store just to buy some beers and stuff. I had a question for the lady. Now, this lady, she's not rich. She's very poor by American standards. She's she lives in Mexico, right? She works as a cashier. Smile on her face. Super friendly. Super helpful. Just a happy person. If I go to my local Walgreens and ask the cashier for some help, he's salty as fuck. He's pissed. He doesn't want to help. He's probably looking at his phone. He's probably like, oh, I should be rich. Look at the Kardashians. Why don't I live like that? Now I'm all pissed off and salty. So the people are nicer there. Service with a smile. Everything's cheaper. The girls are hot as shit. They do not wear normal bathing suits in Tulum, guys. Only thongs. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. There are no normal bathing suits anymore. So anyway, I could go on and on about Tulum. You guys should hit us up. And if you're launching on pools and you're a founder, that's like $1,000 benefit to you for free because you get a 5-night stay at the condo. Say you launched a token, you're stressed, it took a long time, you want to take a little vacation. Nice benefit for you guys. In addition, by the way, we got a whole another slew of marketing packages available now. We're working with some great KOLs. I could go on and on about that. But yeah, man, the pools, Crypto Paradise partnership going strong. Got some great projects in the pipeline. We just need the market to turn green.
Right, and then apparently, I don't know how much I believe this, but it is posted by Bart. Breaking, the world. The world reaches highest level of uncertainty in history, surpassing COVID, the global financial crisis, and the dot-com bubble. Now, I don't know how they're measuring these metrics, because I don't really feel that way, but we do know, if they are correct, markets don't like uncertainty, and that's certainly true for Bitcoin and Ethereum, as we can see in price. We've also seen the price of silver and gold fall dramatically off their highs in these uncertain times. I guess it's even too uncertain for the precious metals currently. What do you make of this chart? What do you make of this data?
I believe it. First of all, I don't think it's just made up. I think it's an overreaction, partially to Trump's policies, which are obviously a departure from the way things used to be. We used to just tariffs, whatever, it was an afterthought, it wasn't really a thing. Trump is using these things to get shit that we want done. Look the deal he just did with Japan. Apparently, tariffs were high, whatever, threatened this, that, the other, and now all of a sudden they're investing billions of dollars to build, car factories and a bunch of other stuff. Wow, look at that. A little bit of leverage, a little bit of, I threatened to do this, but if you give me what you want, I won't do that thing anymore. That works. It's called fucking business. But anyway, people are, I guess rightly or wrongly, concerned about the way, America's going about things right now. The other big thing is America's in an unsustainable level of debt, $38 trillion. And the appetite for U.S. Treasuries is greatly diminished as a result. And so, nation states are buying gold instead. And so you're kind of witnessing a paradigm shift from a global economic standpoint, is my theory and my take. And that has also contributed to the uncertainty because it's like, whoa, shit's different now. And then you add AI into it. What's going to happen? Are we going to lose our jobs? The robots are coming. Like, there's just a lot going on right now. But what I will say to everyone who is scared of the change and the fear of this, that, the other thing, look at the history of the markets going back to 1950. Look at all the wars, technological revolutions, the dot-com bubble and crash. The rise of the big tech company. Just look through history. There has always been moments of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And even despite that, the markets, given enough time, always end up grinding higher.
The thing is, too, do you think that this fear, uncertainty, and doubt can pivot rapidly? You talked about U.S. Treasuries and nation states going to gold versus U.S. Treasuries due to the debt, blah, 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 blah. Do you think that really pivots quickly with the passing of the Clarity Act due to the rules around stablecoins, where these companies are now going to have to hold U.S. Treasuries to offset the balance of that digital stablecoin?
Yes, I have a theory about how long things tend to last in markets. And it's really based on human, let's just call it innate attention spans.
Shorter and shorter every year, it seems.
Innate sort of, time for us to be fearful or whatever. Very rarely do you have a situation where society is in fear and bearish and just feeling like shit for years. It's usually seasons. It's usually about 3 months. Say 3 to 4 months, we feel bad for ourselves, market's down, something's gone wrong, we're uncertain, we're fearful about something. And then you kind of get used to things. And you go, oh, hey, wait, the sun rose today. Oh, wait, the markets didn't go to zero. Oh my God, I'm still alive. Oh, I guess it's not so fucking bad. Maybe I'll get a little bit more risk on again. So I don't think this moment's gonna last forever. We've already, if you're looking at how long Bitcoin's been bearish for, let's call it, October to now. That's already pretty long. So yeah, the stock market's down off all-time highs, gold, everything's down. I don't think this feeling of bearishness persists for too much longer. We'll get used to it. We'll get over it. Some positive bullish catalysts will come, and then we'll forget that we were ever bearish to begin with.
I agree with you there. You know who's not bearish? There's 2 more articles here we want to go through before we call it a day. Our first day back. Got to keep it a little shorter. Got to get back on the train here, look through Telegram and see what's going on. But this is what we've been talking about for a while here. And BlackRock is trying to take their Ethereum spot ETFs and start allowing them to produce passive income. Why would they do that? Number one, because they will make fees off of that passive income. But number two, this will lock up Ethereum into staking mechanisms and hopefully drive the price of Ethereum higher, which does what? Makes BlackRock make even larger fees and gets more people to onboard into the BlackRock investment class, investment asset of these Ethereum spot ETFs. What do you think of this? Obviously, we've been saying it's coming. Now it looks like it is right around the corner. Do you think it's bullish for the markets? Do you think it's bullish for BlackRock? Do you see any negatives with this move?
Dude, ultra bullish, and it sort of validates our thesis that Ethereum, objectively, I know Bitcoin has a lot of emotion tied into it, but objectively, Ethereum is a better investment than Bitcoin. It is a lower market cap, first of all. Second of all, it is a productive asset that you can stake to earn yield. You can't do that with Bitcoin. I know Michael Saylor's engineered some sort of crazy mechanism for generating money off the volatility of Bitcoin. I guess you could say that's somewhat similar, but this is stake, validate the network, earn a small portion of the transaction fees, distribute to stakers. Man, this was a no-brainer for Wall Street, wasn't it? This is such an obvious play. If you're looking for asymmetric upside risk with a passive income component to it, this is it, man. ETF, what are they calling this? ETHB? It's coming. and they're going to have to buy a lot of Ethereum to basically seed this and to enable investors to buy into it. So I'm nothing but bullish. Tell me, I mean, I want to hear someone come on. I want to hear from you guys objectively. Can you make the argument that Bitcoin is still better than Ethereum from an investor standpoint?
Yeah, not only that argument, there would be the argument about whether or not big holders like Thomas Lee, like Joe Lubin from SharpLink Gaming, or like BlackRock, if these are actually good for the asset. But the thing is, if they're not big holders, it could be some other Joe Schmo who's going to sell for $9 billion. There's always a risk of sales. The difference is, for Joe Lubin and SharpLink Gaming, for Bitminer, and for BlackRock, not only is it thousands of holders that are technically holding that Ethereum, they're locking up and staking, which means that there's a multi-week, multi-month withdrawal policy, and it's within their best interest to continue to hold that ETH so that the products can keep running, they can still keep making their fees, and Ethereum price can go up.
Dude, I will tell you this. Thank God for the ETF buyers. Thank God for the boomers that we've derided for so long. They're the ones that are holding up the market and at least keeping to where it's at and not having it break down further. I mean, all the Bitcoin and crypto native guys have been fucking losers. Just selling because who God knows why. Calendar date got hit. I don't know why you're selling, but you are. The ETF buyers have been holding on like G's. I'm telling you. You start to add basically a dividend component to the Ethereum investment through IBIT. That's very attractive to someone who's like my dad's age, right? I mean, hey, I get the upside appreciation. Maybe that's 10% a year. I don't know. Probably more than that, actually. Yeah, there's volatility. But I get this 2.5%, 3% yield paid out to me. Hell, I might even call my dad after this and pitch it to him. I mean, this is very attractive to normal investor, guys. Very attractive. And there's a whole heck of a lot of money out there. So if even a fraction of it comes into this, we get like $500 billion of buy and hold, because it's buy and holding now. It's not sellers, buying and holding. We could easily be $5,000 ETH in the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I'm looking up, because we were talking about there was about $8 trillion in cash investments, typically treasuries. And that was around 5%, so it really made sense. But as interest rates have been coming down, U.S. Treasury payouts have been coming down as well. Now it's down to like 4.04%. So now the people who are in cash accounts are slowly going to have to start to make a decision. So if it goes down to 3 and to 2, well, now you can get into a much higher upside potential asset like Ethereum. Obviously, the dollar spending power keeps going down to the right. That's paying 2 to 4%, or you can keep holding U.S. Treasuries, which is going to be paying 2 to 4%. So now you're in the kind of this kerfuffle or this decision where it's like, maybe I can get the same yield, but also get into an asset that has upside potential versus just staying in this U.S. Treasuries, which were great when I was making 5.5%, but now it's down to 3. You know, this is kind of what we've been talking about will happen and is starting to happening. When we first started talking about it, you were into the 5% yield on those. It's now into the 4s. And with future interest rate cuts, with the new Fed chair, I suspect that the U.S. Treasury payoffs in these cash accounts, that payout will continue to go down as well. At the same time, you're going to have Ethereum options that are going to be paying the same or higher interest rate percentage, and it's an investment vehicle that over time has greatly outperformed the U.S. dollar.
U.S. Treasuries are dog shit investments. I don't know anyone would buy them because I have to wait a very long time to get paid a shit coin that's value has dropped over the 5-year period that I had to buy the Treasury. And I guess you can buy in and out quicker than 5 years or whatever, but they're dog shit. They're dog shit investments. This is obviously much better. The challenge I guess we've had is investors have not decided to take their money and move it into crypto. They've mostly moved it into, I guess, gold. I know that's been a lot of nation states buying. They moved it into S&P 500. Russell 2000's up. Silver had a moment in the sun. I mean, and they moved it into seemingly every other asset class other than crypto. But eventually they will move it into crypto. At least a small percentage of it will be moved in. And it only takes a small percentage of it to make our bags fly.
The last news piece. You know who else can make it fly? The lovers, then the haters, the banners, then the hoarders. That's China. China, China, China. And right now, Bitcoin in this moment of time is banned in China because they've been hoarding gold. So they want all their citizens to buy gold, even though they led their citizens into a $16 billion Ponzi or fraud scheme in gold because they want gold price to pump because they bought a shit ton of it. Well, now something caught this guy's eye in the 13F filings, the biggest new entrant into IBIT from a brand new entity. It's something called Laurel Ltd. No website, no press, no footprint. The only public information is that the filer's name is Zhang Hui, and it's HK based, Hong Kong based. Let's double click on that for a second. Zhang He, I might be saying that wrong, in the Chinese equivalent of John Smith. Here in the United States, if they don't know who you are and they find a dead body, they put down John Smith. So apparently this is equivalent in terms of Chinese names. It's what I like to call a non-anonymous anonymous name, something hiding in plain sight, buried under the statistical weight of millions to make it untraceable. The LTD suffix suggests a Cayman or BVI structure, the classic offshore wrapper for accessing U.S. markets. And the portfolio? A single holding, nothing but IBIT. This isn't a diversified fund, it's 436 million Bitcoin access vehicle dressed in institutional clothing. Why would you do this, you ask? Because Chinese investors can't hold Bitcoin. It's banned by their communist government currently, even though they probably own it and they mine it. If this is what it looks like, it might be an early sign of institutional Chinese capital moving into Bitcoin. Not through crypto exchanges or gray market channels, but through a BlackRock ETF filed with the SEC in a regulated jurisdiction hiding in the most transparent, non-transparent place imaginable. Funny that the name Laurel likely derives from the French laurel, the dawn. Smells like Capital Flight to me. Again, pardon me if I'm mispronouncing those. I barely know English, much rather French or Chinese.
Regardless, great take, great read through, and super bullish. There's a lot of money in the world, guys. Apparently, the amount of money existing in China has like doubled, in the past 5 years or something like that, right? We always talk about money printing and money supply. What's the M2 money supply? Apparently, in China, it's gone up tremendously. That obviously fled some into gold. Their real estate market is wrecked. Apparently, a lot of folks in China, they bought into that real estate bubble, and that thing blew up. And, because they actually make up and fake their population numbers. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there aren't as many Chinese as they want you to believe, and that's pretty obvious as to why. They had a one-child policy for like 20 years. That's not if every person has one child, your population will fall and continue to fall and fall and fall and fall. And now, even since they lifted the one-child policy, people just don't want a bunch of kids because it's too damn expensive, and that's everywhere, by the way. So anyway, there aren't as many people. Real estate bubble blew up. They bought the top of gold. Will some of the smart Chinese decide to rotate some capital into the permissible vehicle for investing in Bitcoin, which I guess is this IBIT product through BlackRock, right? And will there be others that follow? Probably to some degree. So yeah, I mean, positive, bullish. I think it's at $412 million or something. It isn't an insane amount of money by any means, but just started. It could grow. If this is the back door now, if this is the way that, all that Chinese money, there's a lot of money in China, all that Chinese money can now flow into Bitcoin through this backdoor manner that's actually allowed, very bullish.
Yeah, that would be an interesting play for those of you who haven't been out here for multiple cycles. China and some other countries kind of were the morale boost to the market, just how frequently they would ban or allow, unban. You can do mining, but you can't own. You can own, but you can't mine. They can't ever make up their mind. And right now, currently, they are heavily against Bitcoin because the United States has embraced it, but also because they are heavily behind gold currently. So if something like this does exist, obviously that helps with money flow into the markets from their native individuals, but maybe the government will be switching up their mindset on Bitcoin once again and help turn this ship around.
Hold on. I think it might be the Chinese New Year right now. When is the Chinese New Year? Is it right now? Yeah, it's literally now. Okay, so yesterday was the start of the Chinese New Year, February 17th, 15-day celebration. Okay, ends on March 3rd. If you guys have been in crypto for a long time, as we have, you will understand the significance of the Chinese New Year. The significance is that the market kind of slows down. Nothing happens. a lot of projects. First of all, token projects can't launch because it seems like every exchange, other than Coinbase and Kraken, is a Chinese exchange. Why that's the case, I don't freaking know, but that's what happened. So Binance, MEXC, KuCoin, Gate, Bybit. Did I say Bybit? Fucking OKX. They're all Chinese. They don't work. I could reach out to my contacts at Gate or MEXC or whomever right now, and hey, I'm on vacation, bro. 15 days. So not a lot happens right now. So I guess I'm not surprised the market's a little bit doing nothing. Maybe tomorrow we can look at historically what happens after the Chinese New Year ends. Because also I think what happens during Chinese New Year, it's like a celebration, gift giving. They give a lot of gifts and stuff, and they go on vacation. So the theory had always been, well, in advance of it, they sold off some of their crypto to pay for their gifts and their vacations. Now, do they start to reload back up when they get back on the 3rd of March? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But China's a big market. Don't sleep on it. And I'm glad to see the IBIT thing take off.
I mean, that's another thing. We went through like 9 news posts today. Some are pools and altcoin related. Most of them are IBIT, Bitcoin, Ethereum related. And we're not seeing that in price just yet. And it's like, yes, maybe these aren't the most exciting live shows. We don't have alpha. We don't have gems. It's tough to get in the trenches right now and make money. But the macros keep building. And although price is down from all-time highs, we had the liquidity crisis, all these things. I mean, the data just keeps showing that institutions and big money is buying, or retail is either capitulating or slowly taking profits off the market, or maybe just having to take profits to live their daily lives, whether they got bills, it's tax season, all this other stuff going on. So let's see if the liquidity with the ISM rising, if the fundamentals that we talk about with all these news pieces, Clarity Act, interest rates going to be coming down, and if they don't come down by May, they will start in June. What does this lead for 2026? Does this actually lead to another bull market in crypto assets in 2026 like we've been saying for quite a while? Or is this the start of the doldrums and all 2026 is going to be a complete flop? We got to beg and hope that Republicans win the midterms in November. Otherwise, 2017 or 2027 will be a massive downturn as well.
Beg, hope, and vote. I register Republican, so I'm doing my part. We do have some great comments here. Thank you, everyone, by the way. We're back. Yes, good to have you back. Thank you. Meek Chaco, Dovkin, we're back. Things seem very mellow right now. Maybe that's a shout out to the Mellow Project. Those guys are cooking something up. Maybe we'll have Phil on again soon. It's not data collection, it's data manipulation. Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of, Martin Max King going back to the discussion around the job numbers. How can you have any other conclusion? If one day they're saying things are honky-dory with the numbers, and the next day they'd say, oh, the world's coming to an end with the numbers. It's like, this is just fucking nuts. Please like, share, subscribe, as Todd mentions. And then Roan you do need to get to Tulum, dude. I get the sense you're a young man. Dude. Psh. I mean, if I was a younger man and not married, dude. Because everyone's on vacation, drinking all day at the beach. It's hookup culture for sure. So, and anyway, we got to get you down there. And then I did want to go talk about this a little bit more. Question from Dovikin. Have we done a deep dive into ProveX? The alleged exchange killer concept could be massive, but it needs adoption. Nick, have you looked into it? I have a bit.
Yeah, so I have not looked too deep, but ProveX did such a stealth launch, and Richard Hart didn't even talk about it at first. So people were like, oh, this is a scam. This isn't even the real one. And then it turned out that apparently is the real one. And Richard Hart has kind of just been slow releasing stuff, kind of a stealth launch. And I haven't looked that far into it yet. Kind of letting the dust settle with a lot of these launches. You let the dust, the hoopla, and all the smoke and mirrors settle, and then we'll get to a final conclusion. Obviously, we did see a little bit of green in Pulse Chain assets during that launch period. But again, with Bitcoin and Ethereum going down again, all that green has disappeared. So we'll keep following up with it. Nonetheless, it is apparently the real one. There is some information from Richard Hart. I need to dig deeper. But the utilization of ProveX does benefit Pulse Chain assets such as PLS and PLSX with buybacks and burns and liquidity adds like we said it would. So over time and with bullish market sentiments, everything that has been built on Pulse Chain is going to be benefiting the blue chips of Pulse Chain. When those prices go up, the likes of PTGC, Surf, X, and others will go up as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get accurate information on ProveX. I guess I haven't taken a deep enough dive, but I don't think people really know too much other than to say it is a fiat to crypto on-ramp without KYC. Now, in my mind, the big question is it also an off-ramp without KYC? Because that would be truly a killer product. There are already means, to my knowledge anyway, of getting money into crypto without doing KYC. There's MoonPay, there's this there, there's that thing, there's a bunch of these products. It's not even like a new thing. Is this somehow different? How is it different from an on-ramping standpoint, getting money into crypto? But the killer use case would be how to get money out of crypto without going through like Coinbase and stuff like that, because you better believe one element of the Clarity Act, it's clarity around, what constitutes a crypto asset. It's clarity around this thing, that thing, that thing. It's also clarity around your taxes. It is clarity around whether you were compliant and paid taxes on your crypto. Look, Donald Trump administration, hopefully they'll pump our bags, but when they pump our bags, they're going to want their take. And you don't think with AI and fucking all the tech, they can't, and its blockchain's already transparent, you don't think they can figure this shit out if they really want to? So, anyway, expect more scrutiny from a tax standpoint. Obviously, be compliant. There are a lot of great tools out there. I use Coin Tracker. That's a really good one. There's another one called Coinly. I mean, it's not as if like you have to get it absolutely perfect. I made one little error, I'm going to prison for 10 years. Like, no, it's like, dude, they'll tell you made an error. Here's your error. You got to rectify and pay us this amount of money because you made an error. Now, if you don't make any efforts at all,
you're not paying
and you just fucking don't report a thing, now you're in big trouble.
So, like, how does this guy have 3 cars and a house and go to Tulum, Mexico, but isn't,
I paid a lot of taxes in 21, Nick. I paid a lot of taxes that one year, okay? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands in taxes I paid that one year. So, I haven't made a lot of money since. In any event, that's what they're doing from a regulatory and tax compliance standpoint. And then does, ProveX somehow help, I don't want to say solve for that problem, but, keep you a little bit more private? And does it get adoption, or does it, take off? These are questions I do not know the answers to. I think there is a potential use case for it, but my biggest takeaway is if they can solve the off-ramping piece, that would really be massive.
Yeah, we'll be diving more into PulseX and PulseChain, obviously, as things heat back up in the market. It's been pretty mundane. The past week, I told Crypto Armor before we got on, it's like you didn't really miss anything. Price is about the same, not much news articles, no real Fed policy changes. And let's see what happens here leading into the next 27 days. Will there be a cut? Will we get the Clarity Act before or after that potential cut? And let's see how these markets want to react as well. Obviously, silver back into the 70s, gold off the highs. Stock still holding relatively strong. And we really want to find a footing for Bitcoin and Ethereum so we can start having fun on these shows again and start giving alpha and making day trades rather than long-term trades and macro plays here on Crypto Paradise.
Yeah, I think it's going to take the Clarity Act. I think literally all the smart money is just waiting to see if that gets passed. Because there's a chance it doesn't, and if it doesn't, then we're probably looking at more downside, sadly. And so they're waiting. I know some people are buying the dip and stuff like that, but I think most of the market is literally just waiting to see what happens with this. I mean, this would be groundbreaking, landmark legislation that would change crypto forever. It would greatly decrease manipulation on the exchanges, right? Because it's going to allow for more tracking of what the exchanges do, and it's going to impose criminal penalties for things like wash trading and the stuff that these exchanges like to do that wreck retail. It is going to actually kind of confirm once and for all whether a token is going to be a security or a commodity, and is there a pathway from security to commodity and how to get there? Stablecoin yield. Can stablecoin issuers generate yield for the holders? There's a lot there. If it gets passed, I mean, we got a deluge of money allegedly waiting to enter the market. If you listen to the likes of Mr. Wonderful, another guy who's a lot more connected than anybody you and I know, he's saying trillions are waiting to enter the market once the Clarity Act gets passed. So that to me is, I mean, this is the big thing that can either make or break things. And I'll spend a little bit of time today doing a bit more research and trying to get a feel for when they're expecting to get done, because it looks like there's at least one guy, the head of the CFTC, is like, it's almost there.
Yeah, and we've been talking about for a while now. We want it to be done by Q1 of 2026, which would be the end of March. I just think that's really important to get it done by the end of Q1. You know, that means we'd have more interest rate coming, more Fed people coming, and kind of give us some time there before midterm elections and some of these other macro things that we've been talking about. So I think it's very important to get this Clarity Act in the next month and a half.
Yeah, we need to get it done. We need it. Crypto needs it. This has been, I mean, a brutal stretch going back. I mean, for at least since October, but even going back further than that, because even when we had like mini alt seasons, they were so short lived that, you know, you would do a quick couple X and then like project would be dead. I mean, it's like, Jesus, like, couldn't hold anything. You know, so hard to make money in the trenches. I will say this: thank God for pools now, and the fact that we are helping to onboard great projects to pools. We're helping with the marketing on pools, onboarding new investors into pools, because with a refundable IDO model, it really removes most of the risk to you guys, because you got the 24-hour period after the project launches to decide whether you want a refund or not if things don't go well. So thank God we now have that. But other than, I mean, that, there has been not a lot of bright spots. So for anyone still watching the stream, still bullish, still actually even giving a shit about crypto, hats off to you. Thank you, guys. Remember to smash the like, share, subscribe. If you're in the Dow, hit me up if you want to get down to the beach and get a free vacation.
People need it. I know I need it. I need to get out of here.
There you go.
I'm here.
Head
The
down
reason
there.
we haven't. The reason we haven't is because the market's been so slow. I've been doing some extra stuff at the pet store, doing some extra stuff with the vending machines, helping my buddy's roofing business. You know, just doing little things, keeping busy while the market ain't doing much, get some extra cash in so I don't have to sell any more crypto, because I don't want to sell Bitcoin or Ethereum down at these prices. Well, I can't sell Surf. I don't want to sell PTGC. So I'm just doing odds and ends things, helping out where I can, filling in more with the other businesses I have to, you know, make a few extra $100 here and there with those businesses, to spend a little more time on those while we try to keep patching together opportunities here in crypto and waiting for the market to switch around.
Yeah, no, that's smart, man. Pick up odd jobs, pick up some extra income. What I'm doing to myself is just looking to save money, right? I mean, that's another way to help. Not because, yeah, look, for me, I don't want to sell my blue chips. Bitcoin, no. I don't even want to sell my Ethereum. I got some Solana. I definitely don't want to sell. I don't want to sell anything right now. And so how do you manage that? Well, picking up some extra odd jobs and or cutting back on some expenses. And so, you know, actually when I was down in Tulum, I found some summer camp options. I may spend the summer down there. I mean, you're looking summer camp for your kids in the States for a month, probably about $2,000. I got 2 kids now. This shit's fucking expensive. Summer camp there, I think it's about $500 a month at a good international school where kids are dressed in their little uniform, and, you know, it's like the international school. It's not the local school. It's the international school. $500 a month. So, you know, find ways to save, find ways to make money. Just make sure you're not selling Bitcoin and Ethereum at the lows here if you can help it.
I think that's all we got today. Let's get in the Telegram now that you're back in action. Let's see what's cooking for Crypto Paradise. And again, we'll be live tomorrow.
Here for the tech, here for the gains, here for the bullishness, here for the banter. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on the beach.